dear na cost of parliament ma wo say nya like ama or minor ya suffer do.
You see, the main issue is that Parliament is supposed to be a check on the executive.
Exactly.
It also is supposed to oversee the budgets and the activities of the executive so that there's a sense of accountability.
Yeah.
But when you have a parliament within which you can compromise some of the people by bringing them into the executive, co-opting them into the executive, either as ministers, deputy ministers, or, CEOs of, state enterprises or board members of this and that, then by the end of the day, who is the parliament and who is the executive? Because if I am part of the executive on an issue which is in parliament and we've discussed it at the executive, when I go to parliament, I have only two choices.
Yeah.
Either I support my executive or betray them, or I support my parliament and betray them, if there's a difference between what parliament wants and what the executive wants. So that is is institutionalized system of compromise, which it could have worked, but because of the way we have managed it and compromised it, it has not worked the way it should work. So now, these are some of the amendments that we have recommended in the 7-point agenda.
Okay.
That let's not have ministers
from parliament
at all. Not some, not at all. If you go to parliament, you stay there and be a legislature. Yes. Now, those who are in the executive, you stay out. Set your program, bring it to parliament, let them have oversight over it.
Okay.
That is one thing that we can do, which will make things better. Because if I know I like meat and I'm in the kitchen, how can I be in the kitchen without eating part of the meat?
I'll taste it.
I'll have to taste it. So just let me do the sweeping in the yard, are you with me? And let somebody do the cooking.
No temptation. When I'm sorry to say, I saw the okura, aqua to a momone home. Send the other Jinamone money do a bechiari. Okay, see. Okay. At the end, I see what parliament here. Wunya ya enkansi MPs na kasadia na akoso over the years niema ben no maye ya wunya ya enkansi
ene de asem no doso first of all we who say this issue of judgment debts and year one administration on kwa there bia Onua change government now Onua sign contracts not judgment debt abem.
Yeah.
Because for sure, if you take it from somebody, he's going to take it to court.
Exactly.
But if you look at the incidences of judgment debt, about say one party or the other, so why have we kept on having those judgment debts all this time? It means that the manifestos that the parties use, are you with me?
Yeah.
Instead of a plan of action that parliament can supervise, is the problem. Because as soon as he comes with manifesto, changes everything, and then automatically the judgment debt comes. So that thing happening in parliament, they should put a check on it. Parliament should have by now demanded that, look, let's have a national development plan. So that we know that we are all traveling from Kumasi to Bolga, and then we'll be stopping at Nsawam, Accra to Bolga, we're stopping at Nsawam, Kumasi, Techiman, wherever. And we know that for this amount of fuel, we should make this amount of progress.
Yeah.
And we assess to see whether we have made that progress or not. And if there's a different route that we can take, on the same journey to make it more efficient, then we discuss it, agree, and we do it. But it's not that once you get into the car, you can change the destination. I'm not going to Bolga again. In fact, I'm going to, Cape Coast to see my friend there. Are you with me? that kind of wild changes.
Yeah.
it's not good for the system. And I think that Parliament itself needs to put its foot down and say, if we are to do our job properly, after all, we are supposed to approve and mark you, then we need a common exam. So let's have a national development plan. Within that national development plan, you can, give us your management plan of how you are going to achieve those objectives. But yes, it's not that you will change the objective. You will give us a different management plan of how you are going to achieve those same objectives. Then Parliament will be robust, because both sides will be looking at the same thing, and they will be making judgments, objective judgments. So if we have this, it will be a big help. The other issue is partisanship. You see, the democratic system is not designed for your party's interest to be more than the nation's interest. This is why we called the national interest movement. In other words, let's put the nation's interest above partisan interest. So if you go there to represent your constituency and there's an issue and your party is taking it in one direction, the other group are taking it in another direction, there will come a limit. If you're really judging it by the national interest, there will come a limit where you say, no, we have some differences, but for the sake of the national interest, it should be done this way. But if you say, no way, unless you do it my party way, we are not going to agree. And our numbers are more than yours, so we're doing it, we've passed it, we're moving. They say the minority can have their say, we'll have our way. So that have their say and have our way, it goes both sides. And that is basically the point where not only can we do the wrong things more and more, but also the opposition can get frustrated. They say, well, we're only going to talk. After all, they're going to have it anyway. Let's finish quickly and move on to something else. So now the job of checking the system is not being done. There. So these are the things that we have to look at, because they are part of the system. And the system is not cast in stone. We can change it. And we should change it. And the parliamentarians themselves should advocate for that. That is why we were surprised that when we submitted this petition, they themselves did not jump and say, yes, we need it, let's do it. You see? So now I think this partisanship has gone too far now. The game in town is, I have won. Let me do what I want to do. When I finish and you also win, you also do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, what does the nation need? This is what the question we should be asking, all of us Ghanaians. What does the nation need? It's not a question of Ama wanting to become president or Kwesi wanting to go to parliament. What does the nation need? How effectively can we pursue it? And we all work together to pursue it. So you hear me say some consensus government. Wow. This adversarial, democracy, where, I am against you, you're against me. It works when the institutions are strong and the national objective is clear and everybody is working towards it. In the UK, it can work. You all talk. At the end of the day, bring the thing, Queen will sign or not sign. If it's not in the interest of the nation, they won't sign. You see? But here, because of the weakness of the system and the interpretation of the democracy, mafa. Are you with me? You see? Then it can go out of gear. And this is what has been happening. This is what has slowed our advancement as a nation. So we're not saying that throw the democracy away. No. But let us also stop and look inside it and know our own characters and how we behave and say, look, it's enough. Let's go this way. And together we build consensus. We may still have our differences, but let's agree that this is the plan. We have consensus around the plan. Now we can have differences in how we achieve it. And this is the point of the Constitution which people have refused to accept. Oh, no. Why do we need a national development plan? That means when I come, I can't do what I want. Are you with me?
Yeah.
But It's not about what you want.
What the nation
It's about
wants.
what the nation needs. You see, so that is the agenda, say, if we go back and we make some of these reforms, we can rescue the system. We can improve the system. But we cannot rely on the partisan approach to improve it because it is already blinded, are you with me, by the partisan interest. So that is why we're saying, look, let's try and get some independent parliamentarians there who will focus on the agenda. Some self-made people who can afford to dedicate the rest of their life to focus on this agenda, because that is what the road opened to us. And it is important we do this and not pursue ambitions of being president or all those things which may not work, but actually try to get that critical mass that will act as the first check. Because you have seen for yourself this last day, Parliament, even people sick in bed were brought to vote. One vote can be so important. So if we manage to get 5, 10 people who are strong people, you can see what will happen. The people won't have it easy. Or even you have forgotten how Yakubu, she alone. And that was even under Rawlings. Are you? So truth is very powerful. Truth is very powerful. Even if you're one and you're standing on the truth, it will prevail. Provided you're prepared to defend it. So if we can get some self-made people now, and we go and beg them. This is not a matter of people rushing. We have to go and beg them. Are you with me? Because they're now comfortable. They want peace in their lives. And, you know, because one, they are the people with the resources. Two, they're the people where if they're in the community, they respect them enough. So we have to go to some of the chiefs, go to the trade unions, go to people like that, get them, all of us, let's come together. What we're trying to do is save our democracy by getting a few people who will make it more responsive and give it a chance to come out of this doldrums, this quagmire, where we are pulling and we are not making any headway.
And then come on, a very interesting